Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. It's time for our next hot topic, and this one talks about electricity. Now, it says NLC-TUC condemn higher tariff for non-existent electricity. The Nigerian Labour Congress, NLC, and the Trade Union Congress, TUC, have appealed to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, and power sector operators to reverse the increase in the electricity tariff within 1 week. Now, joining us to have a conversation is Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo. He's a public affairs analyst. Good morning, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning, and thank you. Feels good to be back again here.
Always a pleasure having you here. I mean, that's a good question.
That's the best question to start with. I'm not in Band A. Actually, my area is around Band B. I constantly follow NEC's publication, and of course, my disco in my area, their publication. You know, they constantly update it as they upgrade the feeders to Band A. And really, it's not been easy.
Some of us don't even know whether we
fall into
banned any alphabet or whether
Call your disco. I did the exact same thing when I wasn't sure where I was in my area, and I called my disco. I told the customer care person, look, I want to know which one am I in, so that I prepare myself. Is it Band A or Band B?
No, that I'm buying, you know, units, yes, and I don't even know how much.
Yes, but they've constantly updated. At least that's a directive from NEC. To constantly give that public information as they increase or upgrade the feeders in many areas to Band A. So, I mean, my recommendation to everyone will be follow your discos on social media, most especially, and try to keep yourself abreast so you don't wake up one morning and you're in Band A.
But how's the experience being like in your Band B? Because we're talking about non-existent electricity, as it were. So, how is it?
I think my area is fair. Band B, you get about 18 hours.
Yeah. So it says on paper.
So you said,
but if you could do the calculation, is it up to?
Well, to be fair on them, I think we'll get around that.
Okay.
You know, but I don't know because my house is on solar, so I don't know. I'm not sure I'm able to count because.
So you can't count because you have solar.
I'm on solar, but if I monitor, if I can say my monitoring or observation after sometimes, I think they try fair enough, at least for the last couple of days, for the entire between 10 p.m. to 6, 7, 8 a.m. There's light.
So that's a huge chunk.
Yes, that's a huge chunk.
Out of the 18 hours.
So my solar sort of covers the 4 hours or 3 hours when.
And do you have that every day?
Yes, every day. I think for the last 5 days, I've noticed that has been consistent. I can't speak for other areas, though. Most people are experiencing this differently, but I see a little bit of effort in that area because my understanding is they want to make more money. So they want to make sure they are consistent so they can upgrade those feeders from Band B to Band A, you know, so that they can even get more money if they're on Band A. But those in Band A are really complaining. Not everybody is actually getting that 20 hours.
Yeah.
Some people are really struggling with the increase in tariff. So if you are to spend 10K usually on your prepaid, that 10K can only take you a couple of days now because that has gone up in a way. So if you people in the Band A are really not having it easy and they are complaining very, very bitterly. But of course, what can we do?
Yeah.
Even the Band A doesn't, it's not consistent. Well, it could be 20 hours, but inside the 20 hours, the light will go off like
so many times.
Yes.
I was in a Band A area the other time. I was like, okay, yes, now I have arrived. But within within 1 hour, the light went off like 5 or 6 times.
So I think the NEC is monitoring these things, and I think NEC has also put out numbers for consumers to call them directly if they think their area is on Band A and it's not receiving
as much power.
The power that is stipulated for Band A, I think you can report this directly to NEC, and NEC will take it up with the discos and all of that, and which I think is the best approach. If you're on Band A, I advise that you calculate the number of times you don't see the lights, and you assure me. I told the customer care person, I'm going to count it.
I mean, let's be realistic. If you're going to take all that money, then
you should be able to provide. Should be able to provide that power. So let's see how it goes. But it's not been easy, really, for a lot of, because you know now the cost. If you're in Band A, the cost has gone up. I mean, other salaries and income have really gone up. So there's so much struggle, you are putting more money. Even the businesses are complaining.
Yeah.
I was speaking to a CEO recently who runs a very big site, and he was lamenting. He said, look, Wisdom, it seems like it is cheaper now for me to run my firm now on diesel than being on band A. Because the money he's paying now is really so much, and maybe it's even charging him, it's costing him less if he runs his generators on diesel. And you see that's a concern now automatically. And I don't want, I can imagine the economics a lot of business owners and organizations are putting on the table now.
Yes.
To be able to do that. Which one should we rely on? Which one shouldn't we? Because it's costing them so much.
So that just debunks everything that people were saying, that let there be power first. Nigerians will be willing to pay.
I mean, that's the question I was going to ask, because the last time you were here, we had a conversation, and one of the questions I raised was the fact that, let's say the power, if we see the power, we'll be able to pay. I know I also raised the question, the question I raised was, will people be able to afford it? But I'm sure when I was asking that question, I did not think we would see about 300% increase for this electricity tariff, because we're talking about the fact that there was, the grid was always collapsing. There's not enough power. So now for the band A customers, you're seeing power maybe for that amount of hours, even though it might not be as consistent because it keeps tripping off, but then you're seeing the power, and the amount is a lot.
It's a lot.
And obviously TUC and NLC are coming out and saying, you know what, this it's not possible. What do you think about the increase? I think I want to ask that. Yes, the increase. How do you increase a tariff? Because in every other country, you know that the government subsidizes one thing or another for the country. Right now, we had fuel subsidy that was taken away. We have electricity subsidy that is being removed as well for band A customers. How do you move? How to increase something with about 300%? I can understand that maybe you'll get there at some point, but how do you just go all in like that?
Okay, so let me try to answer everything now. First of all, you need to know that what is driving the increase for band A is because 75% of what drives our power is gas. And now because of the exchange rates, instability, and all of that, the cost of gas has gone up.
Which is not our fault.
Which is equally, let's say it's not our fault. But now, and gas is sold and priced in dollars. So as we are having exchange rate fluctuations, the cost of gas is unstable and going up. That even affects cooking gas, because my cooking gas cost has increased over time. Now, so because of that, we need the gas for power. So if we need to be able to pay the gas companies to supply the gas, it means that we need more money to get that. So all of this economics, I mean, people in this sector...
Don't we have gas in Nigeria?
Well, we have gas.
Because I know there is a Nigerian gas company.
Yeah, you remember that? One of the big collapse, was it in January or so, that lasted for about 2 weeks? Or a week or something. It was because of shortage of gas. The Nigerian gas company had complained or mentioned or communicated that they were not getting gas. So that is one of the reasons. I mean,
the gas company was not getting gas.
Yes.
So what's the Egbin? I know there is an Egbin plant or something.
Yeah.
I know Nigerian gas company is in Warri.
Yeah.
I know they are supposed to be producing gas for us, right?
So is it that
the production is not enough?
Production is not enough. Obviously, when you talk to people within that gas space, they even would let you know that we don't even have the necessary infrastructures. Around gas at the moment. That's why you see the gas associations and people within the gas space, they are really advocating, for there to be investment into infrastructures that are going to drive gas, and all of that, because it affects everything. So that has also affected electricity now, which we are discussing, and that cost hike. So at the same time, like we said before, we're thinking is Nigerians can pay for this if it's even available. But the reason why there's so much complaint now is because our purchasing power has really dropped drastically. At the end of last month, I saw how much my house personally consumes, and I saw the bill. I'm like, oh wow, this has gone up you know, more than what it used to be before. And that is same to Nigerians and a lot of Nigerians,
yes.
you know. And that's why Labour Congress, LUC and TUC, they're saying, look, they are not even saying minimum wage again. They are saying living wage.
Yes.
You know, the wage that can even survive you.
Yeah.
And guess how much they are looking at for that? 615,000 naira, you know, as minimum wage, you know, for Nigerian workers. And if you do the breakdown like they gave, you know, you will see that it's not even enough. You know, because the
and government will offer
in actual reality, I mean, minimum wage, that minimum or living wage should be paid around 1 million naira for every Nigerian to survive. You know, but they looked at it and they broke it down to like 615. It might sound a lot, you know, when you hear 615,000, but when you see the breakdown they have given, which of course, when they go into that meeting with the tripartite committee, you know, to look at all those figures, I wonder what they are going to take out, what they're going to remove. In the breakdown of that analysis, in a month, what they pegged for buying electricity is 20,000 naira. In that breakdown,
which is not enough.
Which is not enough. And imagine if you are in the band A area.
Yes. So if you allow me now to just give you that breakdown, maybe if you look at the housing, they pegged it at 40,000 naira. Electricity 20,000 naira. Utility 10,000. To buy gas and kerosene, for those who use gas or kerosene, they pegged that at maybe between 25 to 35,000 naira. Food a day for a family of about 6, you know, maybe within that range, they pegged about 9k a day. You know, so multiply that. 9,000 cannot feed you in a day. Now, you know, if you really want to feed, you know, medical, they pay about 50,000 naira. Sanitation for a month, about 10,000 naira. Then transport, which of course we know takes the bulk of, you know, what every worker pays. And in Lagos alone, I can imagine what transportation is compared to other areas in the country. They pegged it about 110,000 naira a month. Let's be realistic. If you look at this, it is not even enough for a living wage.
No, that's for someone who's jumping buses. But even then,
in this transportation now, you are still going to jump buses. You know, 20k for electricity. My own apartment, my own house, I spend more than 20k, you know, only to buy.
Even before now.
Even before now. So you can imagine. I don't know which. If you're on band A, this is 1 week light. You know, if you're on band A, you know, within a month. So you can imagine what this is. So our purchasing power is really low, and when that is low, that's when Nigerians will complain, you know, that this is too much. And now Edo State government, the only government has increased, you know, minimum wage. Say, we can pay 70,000 naira. I'm not sure what the
Cross River is saying 40.
Cross River is saying 40. Other states are still at the 35 or 30,000 naira minimum wage.
And waiting for the federal
which has expired, by the way, since 18th of April. You know, since that was approved in 2019. So a lot has changed. So if our purchasing power is low, how do we afford electricity, for example? How do we afford even to buy fuel? The cost of fuel now in Lagos, you could get in some areas 900, some areas 800, some areas, you know, 700. Outside Lagos, in Rivers State as we speak, fuel is about 1,000 naira. Wow. In some communities beyond, you know, the main city of Port Harcourt, like where I'm from in Bonny local government, it's about 1,500.
Wow.
Bonny, the oil producer.
Yes, that's my local government. So everybody come to fuel your car. A liter of petrol there is 1,500, 1,400, even more. I don't even check as at this morning what the cost is. You know, the cost, because the community is disconnected from the main town, so you have to go by boat to Bonny from Port Harcourt. That we used to pay many years ago, 1,500, 2,000. Today, I just paid for my mom to travel. She paid 7,000 naira. Wow. Because of course that is driven by the cost from Bonny to Port Harcourt. So when our purchasing power is low like this, we're going to complain about everything. We're going to buy it. Everything is going to be a problem. So imagine if you're not earning above 615,000 naira. Now, mind you, in that breakdown I gave as the living wage that the TUC and AUC are putting forward, when you spend all of this, you have not saved the kobo.
Yes.
So let us put that, you know, you have not saved
because that's why it's supposed to be the base, the minimum. This
is just the minimum. So we have not saved. So when you live a life as you earn, as you work, you chop, you are not saving, you know, just to make ends meet, then you're not living. You know, so that is the problem. That's why everybody's complaining about the electricity. You know, so and with the way things are going, like I said before, the discos are working to make sure their feeders are working, and they can upgrade everybody to be within the band A. If this happens, what do we do? That's why people are saying, what can government step in to do? But the Minister of Power is like, you know, when he met with the House of Reps, he said, look, we either embrace this or we expect blackouts across the country. So these are real issues. I'm not sure.
I think that statement was very insensitive.
Quite
I think
insensitive.
So as well. Why should we be paying for the incompetence of the people in power? Because that's what it means.
Yeah.
You cannot generate ideas enough to make sure that you do something differently.
Yeah.
You're not telling us to raise we don't have the money.
Where is the money? You're not putting it in my
So if you don't earn above, like I said, if you don't earn above 600 to 615,000 naira anywhere you work, then you are just getting by. You're just, in fact, you're not even getting by.
You're just existing.
You're just existing, you know, because really it is tough. And you know, in Nigeria now, there are people who their salaries are 30,000, 40,000.
Yeah.
Just imagine where those people live, how they survive.
How they even feed. Because food is so expensive.
Food is so expensive. Now, if you go to, I mean, I try to know the cost of things in the market. I try to go to the market too, you know, and I try to ask questions. Like I said, when I saw the bill my house people gave me to say this is what for them, but I screamed. I said, what is eating the chunk of this thing? We seem to be going high in everything, you know. But the cost of things like
cost of living
chicken,
in general,
turkey, you know, all these proteins in the you need to hear the cost.
Rice. I bought rice over a week ago.
Congratulations.
Guess how much? You know, we've been talking about it, saying, you know, rice is about 80,000 to 90,000 naira per bag. I bought rice for 145,000 naira. This was less than 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and you know, as perishable goods, you need to refrigerate them.
So you need electricity.
You need electricity to do that. So when the costs, when you're maybe in a bad area maybe, and that has gone up, you need to factor in that cost, you know, in a way so that goes to the consumer. So power is at the core of everything. You can imagine that it's not. I
think we just need to go back to the old times. You know those little lanterns, the one that I think that's where they want to. No, at this point, I think then you have to dig the holes and put your stuff in there to make it cold.
Is this not a deficiency that we're exhibiting, you know, in governance? Because we have sufficient sun, we have sufficient wind, and we're not talking about generating electricity from sun or the wind and all that. Is this not a deficiency? We are the ones paying for that.
We're talking about it, but we're not just talking enough. Like the Electricity Act 2023 as signed by then President Buhari, I mean, there's a part of that act that sort of for the first time speaks to renewable energy, you know, promoting it and all of that. So it is there. It's just that maybe we're not talking enough about it. We need to do more. We need to be able to promote it more.
The National Assembly in the time of Buhari, I remember this, without having to call names, they were talking about alternative energy and all that. And one senator or a few senators got up to say, we shouldn't even be talking about electric cars as a country that produces oil. We should not even be talking about that. But guess what? The world is moving away from that.
The world is moving.
So if the National Assembly or anybody in the National Assembly will be with that kind of mentality, so you can imagine what kind of laws they are making, what kind of policies they are enabling in Nigeria.
So that change needs to start there. And I disagree with that honorable member in a way, because for example, Lagos has introduced electric buses. Yeah. You know, they've done the first phase of rollouts, and that went so well. And they are doing this in partnership with one of the companies, indigenous companies here. And they are doing the second phase where they are, you know, they've gotten more buses, and the plan by the Lagos government is to phase out, you know, what we know as the petrol BRT buses and introduce electric, and that is going well. Sincerely, we need to give it to Lagos's government for taking that lead. Yeah, these are the kind of things we want to see. Innovations we want to see government drive. You know, the federal government has also, you know, introduced the CNG and all of that buses, which is rolling out, you know, well. Maybe these are the things that we hope will reduce, you know, the burden on using fossil fuel, which of course is petrol which we look at the other environmental, harm that it brings to us, as a people again. So I don't think we need to look at how do we, for example, if we have more homes use solar, if we have more people, like some companies are also thinking, if some of them have met me and said, Wisdom, how do we put my organization on solar? How do we do all of this? And I introduced to companies who can do this and all of that. It's possible. Telling one of the banks, you go to their head office here in Lagos, the entire building is 100% on solar.
Powered by solar.
Powered by solar. So if it's possible for them to do, then the others can also take leave. That reduces your burden and cost on what you pay for diesel to begin to power generators.
And electricity, if you're a Band-Aid
customer. So we need to get to that place also when if I generate so much with my own solar in my house, I could give back to the grid. That happens in several climes, across the world, which I think is a work in progress. I think it's a work in progress. But
so if you were made the special advisor to the Minister of Power, because a lot of people are calling for his resignation, even that he's not doing what he is supposed to do. So what would you really advise him to make sure that power is available to everybody and at an affordable cost?
Rate,
I don't know. I'm not sure I can answer that question at the top of my mind just right now. And maybe something we need to look at. I need to.
But what are alternatives? Because obviously you have the experience with the solar.
Yes.
So what are the alternatives, and how easy or otherwise is it to get them?
I think solar home systems are really, a few of them are cheap. You could get a solar lantern, a solar lamp, about 30, 40K.
I'm talking about the fact,
so
the government.
Yes.
How can they key into providing this solar alternative to the power system that we have?
First step is to really engage people in that space first. Where do we need help? Where do we need the support? How do we, for example, there's a program that will happen next week that's going to talk about how do we drive open source with energy access. Some of those things, government needs to be part of it. How do we, what kind of support? Largely, funding is a big, issue within, the energy access space. Reason why this is not as, as everywhere as it is. So if we can close that gap, what are the kind of investment we need in this area? There's a company that has built a solar panel assembly plant in Lagos, just at Ibejuleki here. What they are doing is they get the parts, they come here, they assemble everything, and the solar panels, you don't have to import it. They're here now. Wow. That kind of organization now that is doing this, what can we do to scale up their production? Where is the gap they are facing? They've been able to source some investment here and there. I'm aware they recently got some $2 million investment that has, brought the factory to where it is. If government can step in, I don't know if it's okay to mention their name, but if government can step in to support them, for example.
Because it would benefit them.
Yeah, it will benefit. And so once we can we can produce those solar products in country, we reduce the costs. I know how much I spent, to put solar in my house, because most of the things they got to set up my own solar system, was imported. So if we can produce those things in country, we reduce the costs, and therefore other Nigerians can get it at a very affordable rate. So if I would advise, like a question as a special advisor maybe to the Minister of Power, my call to him will be, look, can we approach the sector? Can we approach these people? Can we provide funding? Can we go to this company I've mentioned, for example? Where are their gaps? Can we help them drive to get more investment, either from government or anything? Can we scale their production? In that way, everybody begins to buy this at affordable rates.
We just hope that our mentality will get as mature as that. We heard that there was a young man who was producing more or less solar cars up north. He could fabricate some of these things. Until now, we've not heard any kind of encouragement from government.
Oh, I've seen many.
We have a situation where the National Assembly wants cars, and we have a local production unit.
They want to buy the foreign cars.
And they said these ones have name. So they're talking.
Anyway, I was just going to ask, because we have to wrap it up now. The reversal that NLC and TUC is asking for, do you think that there's any chance that that would happen?
Unfortunately, no.
So we have to embrace this.
I don't think it's feasible to have that reversal. I doubt it. We just have to see what can we do around it, what is possible. Like I said, in the breakdown they have given now, they gave this 20,000 when this hike has not happened.
Yes, yes.
You know, and this living wage when this has not happened. Now this has happened, it means that figure needs to go up. But I think it will be taxing this tripartite committee on minimum wage that the president has set up to look at this holistically. We are also aware that what the state government now gets from FAC has tripled.
Yeah.
You know, so what are they doing with all this money? Some state their IGRO has gone up. You know, what are they doing with all this money? We need to see that we need to cut costs in governance so that we can be able to help the people. Yeah. You know, so all of these things, I hope when the committee sits, they are with their good conscience be able to look at some of these things and let's give the workers, you know, a reasonable living wage. Minimum wage is a long term. Let us live first before we are approaching the minimum. So, but I don't think the reversal is feasible. I'm not sure how they want to reverse that in any way.
Well, let's just look at the minimum wage and see what is going to be done. And I hope that the people working on it would be as realistic as possible, especially with our economy. But this is where we have to draw the curtain here. It was so lovely having you, as usual. Thank you, Wisdom, for coming.
Thank you for bringing the wisdom.
All right, we've been talking about the electricity tariff hike and the fact that NLC and TUC have asked for a reversal, and well, they've asked them to reverse it within 1 week. And we're speaking with Wisdom Chapp-Jumbo, is a public affairs analyst. But this is where we have to wrap it up on the show today. It's been lovely having the breakfast with you. My name is Romet Paulson. We'll see you again tomorrow.
And I am Nyamgul Agaji. Have a very lovely day.
Bye.